Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of the Price Check here on the In the Zone Network, where we go city to city, state to state, worldwide. Special edition today because, of course, giving a little bit of a tribute to the one and only late great Kobe Bean Bryant, the Black Mamba, who's getting his statue unveiled outside of Staples Center in Los Angeles, which, of course, Staples Center, crypto.com arena. We're never going to refer to it as crypto.com, none of that. Staples Center is where that statue will be unveiled tonight as the Lakers get ready to take on the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals rematch from last year. But of course, special moment because, of course, Kobe is no longer with us. But I wanted to definitely take some time to really just dive into a little bit of a tribute to him as to why he's my favorite player, probably, of course, favorite Laker, arguably the greatest Laker of all time. And just, kind of really show that love and appreciation since, of course, that's kind of where my basketball fandom started. And so, speaking of the start, got it started with NBA Courtside 98. Kobe Bryant was the cover athlete for that video game on Nintendo 64 for all my gamers out there to remember it. Of course, graphics and movement, all that weren't the greatest back then, but definitely what put me on to Kobe as a player because, of course, on that game, he was unstoppable. So, of course, I had to get past Eddie Jones. He was not starting on the Lakers at that time, but got a chance to kind of get familiar with his game initially that way. And then introduction to him actually on the court was him airballing three-pointers in the playoffs against the Utah Jazz, I believe in 97 or 98 for the Lakers as they lost that series. And so the thing that immediately stuck out to me in that, and probably as a kid, was, why did he keep shooting it if he airballed? But what I didn't realize at the time was that, complete absence of failure at that point. Of course, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. But as a basketball player and a basketball player that aspires to be great, you do have to have that lack of fear in big moments. And that was one thing that kind of stuck out initially. Even though you could say that he failed in that moment, there was a lack of fear and a embracing of the moment that you could see that was there with him. And then fast forward to the 2001 playoffs, the Lakers, of course, blowing through everybody in the Western Conference, sweep their way through the Western Conference. He has the 48 points and 16 rebounds against Sacramento. Does some outstanding things the year before. Of course, Game 4 was his kind of coming out party to the world against the Indiana Pacers in the finals. Shaq fouls out. He takes the team into overtime and gets the win on the road. So, of course, big moment right there. But 2001 playoffs is where it really starts like, okay, this is like superstar, just elite level play right now out of him. And then, of course, for me, as I'm starting to understand basketball a lot more, understand that him and Shaq together is just a cheat code, right? So, gotta love that. But then you get into the whole Kobe Shaq feud, and for me as a Lakers fan, like, why can't these dudes just get along? They're great together and all that. And so afterwards, you kind of had to make a decision, right? You either are sticking with Kobe and the Lakers, or you moving on with Shaq once he got traded. For me, of course, decided to stay Lakers fan, as you can tell by the shirt that I have on today. But seeing Kobe following that, you saw a level of determination, a level of grit. Not always the most likable guy, not always the guy that endeared himself to, people, even teammates in some cases. But again, that absence of fear, that determination, that desire to be great was always present with him. That's just something that always resonated with me as a basketball fan. Compared to other basketball players, he wore that on his sleeve every single day, and it was something that was admirable about that. In terms of course, me also playing basketball at the time, you want to be able to come up big in those moments, but you also want to have that accountability when you don't. And he definitely showed that and displayed that at all times. And so there is also the one time that I got to go see Kobe Bryant play in person. Pretty funny story here. This is 2013, I believe, 2012, 2013. I'm in college at this time. They are playing the Indiana Pacers on the road. This is after the whole Dwight Howard, Steve Nash trade and acquisition of those players. And so team was not great that year, but they were starting to come along towards the end of the season. I believe this is like late March that we go see them Now the caveat to this is the Lakers had just played a road game in Atlanta the night before. Kobe goes up for a jump shot over Dante Jones, comes down on Dante Jones's foot, sprains his ankle. Mind you, that's in the fourth quarter of that game as well. So I'm on the road with some frat brothers of mine. Shout out to the mob. Um, we are on the road to go to Indiana, not knowing if Kobe Bryant's actually going to play in this game that night. So we're checking the different ESPN apps, all the different sports news apps, everything that we can check that day, trying to figure out, okay, are we actually going to get to see Kobe play in this game tonight? So get to Indiana, get some food and everything before the game. They announced that he is going to give it a go. And so I'm, of course, ecstatic. I got my Lakers jacket on. Shout out to my wife, Wendy. We were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, and she had bought me that jacket while we were in college, I believe, for Christmas. And so had, of course, been dying to wear this Lakers jacket, got a chance to go to the game. And so we get into the arena, game's about to start. We see the Lakers warming up. Mind you, we get into the arena. This is the Pacers Arena, what used to be Conseco Fieldhouse. I think Bankers Life Fieldhouse is the name of it now. But we get into the arena, we see them warming up. There are three things that stood out to me about that warm up. You could tell that Kobe was favoring that ankle; it was hurt, but he was definitely going to give it a go. Steve Nash also took like 30 shots in that warm up, did not miss one. Crazy, one of the craziest like shooting outputs I've seen in my life in person. And then just how like large in life this man Dwight Howard was at 7 feet tall. But Kobe is giving it a go. So we watch first quarter. Kobe comes out against, I think it's like 0 for 4, 0 for 5 in the first quarter. But just again, being in the building, seeing it live is riveting enough, right? Steve Nash, Dwight Howard running pick and rolls, Kobe, doing his thing, trying to just give them some type of life, some type of energy throughout that first quarter. And sure enough, after that first quarter, they shut Kobe down for the rest of the game. So the one time I did get to go see Kobe in person, he played all 12 minutes of the first quarter, did not play a single minute after that. But the Lakers got the win. Thanks to Steve Nash and Dwight Howard and that one. George Hill was pretty pissed off after the game because there were so many Lakers fans in Indiana. So that was a great experience, even though, again, just only got to see him play for the few minutes that he played. But, again, that grit, that determination, that desire to be great, there's a lot of guys who probably would have announced the night before or the morning of that they weren't playing in that game because of the ankle injury. But that was something, again, my favorite player deciding that he was going to give it a go. It might not have even been for the fans. It was just probably for himself and the team. But that willingness to actually go out and give it a go was definitely something that meant a lot to me as, somebody who was a big fan of his. So then, of course, you get into late stages of Kobe's career, the Achilles tear, which actually happened a few weeks after that game that we went to. And there's something, again, Achilles tear, these are small things that stand out for me with Kobe that just kind of show you the type of player that he was. But the biggest thing that stands out to me, Kobe, the whole end of his career, and you can call him selfish, all that, he was a ball hog, whatever you want to say. That man tore his Achilles, walked to the free throw line and still shot the free throws and walked himself off the court. Now, you also saw a pretty good anecdote last night come out here from Bleacher Report that the Lakers training staff offered him a wheelchair, and his response was "fuck Paul Pierce" because, of course, Paul Pierce infamous wheelchair incident against the Lakers in the '08 finals. And so that was something that was in the back of his mind, again, showing you the type of player that Kobe was. He didn't forget. He was always going to make sure that if he was available, he was going to give himself and give all of himself to his team and his teammates. And so in remembering the type of player that he was, that's always going to be something that stands out. And of course, talk about scoring 81 points, having two jerseys retired. The same year that he scored 81 points, he also, a couple weeks before that, had a game where he scored 62 points in 3 quarters, outscoring the Dallas Mavericks by himself in that span. So, you got all these different performances, and then, of course, nothing better than the 60 game, or so I'm sorry, the 60-point game at the very end, his last game of his career. I, of course, remember that also sitting here watching that he's, jacking up shots. He's like just kind of giving every little bit of energy that he has left to this final game. People like he took 50 shots. And y'all really expected Kobe to pass the ball in his last game of his career? Are you high? Are you out of your mind? So yeah, that was great. Of course, I'm at that point, I'm balling just in tears because it's like, damn, this is the last time I'm going to be able to watch this guy perform his craft. And so, um, just all those little moments and things that everybody's always caught up in the GOAT debate. Who's better, Mike or LeBron? Man, you can't put LeBron past Kobe. And I don't care who your favorite player is. I don't care who you think the GOAT is. Kobe has still done things that a lot of great players have not. He's going to have a legacy that lasts in a way that a lot of players won't. And I think that's something that's going to be undeniable really till the end of time when you look at basketball. We mentioned the 81-point game, having two jerseys retired. He won championships without a top 75 all-time teammate. The list goes on. So whether you think LeBron's the greatest, Mike's the greatest, Kobe's the greatest, you still can't take away the legacy that Kobe built. And so today, of course, you want to make sure, show some highlights, whatever. A lot of people are going to be on that. But I think the biggest thing that we should remember in terms of not only the basketball career, but the life of Kobe Bryant, there was always a visible and outright desire to be great at his craft. And sometimes to his own teammates' detriment, to his own detriment in some cases. But I think that when you are attacking anything in life, whether it's your career, hobby, family life, whatever, you always want to push yourself to the absolute max at all times. And I think that's one thing that anybody who's watched Kobe can say about him and his career is that he always went as hard as he possibly could, regardless of the situation. So of course, just wanted to make sure that we here at the Price Check gave a little bit of a tribute to Kobe on today. I'm sure it's going to be an emotional scene there in LA for this statue unveiling. But the biggest thing is we just got to make sure that Kobe's legacy lives on as positively as we can, regardless of all the other, comparisons and GOAT arguments, all that other stuff. Whether you think Kobe's the GOAT or not, there's no way ever that you can deny the absolute greatness and the legacy that he left. So, from the Price Check to the Bryant family to the Lakers fans everywhere, we just want to make sure that we show Kobe some love on today. And until next time. Mamba out.